In the previous video, I had asked you to calculate the values of sine 3 theta, cos 3 theta and tan 225 degrees. Sine 3 theta can be calculated by writing it as sine 2 theta plus theta, and we can apply the formula for sine A plus B and we can calculate this. But to calculate this as sine 2 theta plus theta, we first need to know the values of sine 2 theta and cos 2 theta. So sine 2 theta and cos 2 theta can be calculated by writing sine 2 theta as sine theta plus theta and cos 2 theta as cos theta plus theta. Now we can apply the same formula, that is sine A plus B and cos A plus B, to calculate sine 2 theta and cos 2 theta. We can put these values into this equation where we can calculate the values for sine 3 theta. I hope you must be getting the values of sine 3 theta as 3 sine theta minus 4 sine cube theta. Okay. Similarly, we can calculate the values of cos 3 theta as 4 cos cube theta minus 3 cos theta. Tan 225 degrees is very easy to calculate. We can write 225 degrees as 180 degrees plus 45 degrees. We can write down this as sine 180 degrees plus 45 degrees divided by cos 180 degrees plus 45 degrees. Okay, we derived in the last video that sine 180 degrees plus theta is equal to minus sine theta. So we can write down this as minus sine 45 degrees, and cos 180 degrees plus theta is equal to minus cos theta. We can write down this as cos 45 degrees. We know that sine 45 degrees and cos 45 degrees both are equal, so these cancel out and we get 1. So tan 225 degrees is equal to 1. This was about the problems I had given you in the last video. Let us learn a few basics of coordinate geometry. Suppose we have got a point out here in the plane. How do we know the location of this point in plane? How do we tell somebody that this particular point is located here? We can make two arbitrary axes perpendicular to each other. The one we know as the x-axis and the other we name the y-axis. The point of intersection of these axes is called the origin. Now we can measure the distance of this point from the x-axis and the y-axis, and that will give us the precise location of this point. The distance of this point from the y-axis measured perpendicularly is called the x-coordinate or abscissa. Let us suppose that this distance, the distance of this point perpendicular from the y-axis, is a, and the distance of this point measured perpendicularly from the x-axis is known as the y-coordinate or ordinate. Let us suppose this distance is b. Now a and b is known as the coordinates of this point. So these coordinates a and b give the precise location of this point in this plane. Let us take a point Q located on the x-axis. Let us suppose this distance is c. What are the coordinates of this point Q? We can clearly see that the distance of this point perpendicular from the y-axis is c, and since this point is located on the x-axis itself, it is at no distance from the x-axis, therefore the distance is 0. So the y-coordinate of this point becomes 0. C, 0 are the coordinates of this point x located on the x-axis. Similarly, we can see that for a point R located at a distance d from the x-axis, the coordinates will be 0, d. since this point is located on the y-axis itself, it is at no distance from the y-axis, so the x coordinate becomes 0 and d is its y coordinate. 0 comma d represent the coordinates of a point located on the y-axis. Now, what are the coordinates of the origin? Since the origin is at no distance from the x-axis or the y-axis, the coordinates of the origin are 0, 0. Now look at these 2 points P and Q with the coordinates x1, y1 and x2, y2 respectively. We have to find out the distance between these 2 points. We can see that the distance between the points P and Q is the length of the line segment PQ. We join these 2 points forming a line segment. We have to now find out the length of this line segment. Consider this point R and you can see that the triangle PRQ is a right angled triangle, right angled at R. Now consider this triangle PRQ. Can we find out the length of the line segment RQ? Yes, obviously it is x2 minus x1. Similarly, we can say that the length of the line segment PR is y1 minus y2. Can we apply Pythagoras theorem to the triangle PRQ? Yes, we can. So applying the Pythagoras theorem to this triangle PRQ gives us that PQ square is equal to y1 minus y2 square plus x2 minus x1 square. So the length of the line segment PQ can be calculated as square root of y1 minus y2 whole square plus x2 minus x1 whole square. See, since the differences between y1 and y2 are being squared, so it doesn't matter whether you write it y1 minus y2 or y2 minus y1. It will give you the same result. So in the standard form, we can write down the length of PQ as square root of y2 minus y1 whole square plus x2 minus x1 whole square. This is the distance formula. Now consider the same 2 points P and Q with the same coordinates as before. Now we have got a point R lying exactly in between the 2 points. We want to calculate the coordinates of the point R. We can clearly see that the x coordinate of R is lying exactly in the middle of the x coordinates of P and Q, and the y coordinate of R will be lying exactly in between the y coordinates of P and Q. So we can calculate the coordinates of point R as x equal to x2 plus x1 divided by 2 and y equal to y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay, so we can see that the coordinates of the point R will be actually the arithmetic means of the coordinates of the point P and Q. Now look at this line here. This line is making an angle of theta with the x-axis measured anti-clockwise. Okay, so the angle measured anti-clockwise from the x-axis is known as the inclination of the line. So theta is actually the inclination of the line. Okay, so now we define the slope of a line. Suppose here we have a line. The slope of a line is defined as tan theta. So the tangent of the angle theta, that is the inclination of the line, is known as the slope of the line. Okay, but remember this angle theta has to be measured anti-clockwise. In the figure we can see that this angle theta is actually an acute angle. That is, this angle lies in the first quadrant. We know that all the trigonometric ratios are positive in the first quadrant, so we can clearly say that the slope of this line is positive. Now look at this figure. In this figure, this is the angle that the line makes with the x-axis, and we can clearly see that this angle is an obtuse angle, that is, it lies in the second quadrant. Okay, we know that tan is negative in the second quadrant, so tan theta will be negative. So this line is having a negative slope. Now look at this figure. We can see that this line makes an acute angle with the x-axis. So the slope of this line is positive. Also look at this line. This line is also making an acute angle with the x-axis. So the slope of this line is also positive. This line is making an obtuse angle with the x-axis. So this line has a negative slope. Now let us talk about intercepts. See, this line intersects the x-axis at this point and y-axis at this point. So this distance between the origin and the point where the line intersects the x-axis is called the x-intercept of the line, while this distance between the origin and the point at which the line intersects the y-axis is called as the y-intercept. We can see that this line is a positive y-intercept and a negative x-intercept. In this line, the x-intercept is positive while the y-intercept is negative. In this figure, the x as well as the y-intercepts are positive. We can clearly notice that the x-intercept of the line is nothing but the x-coordinate of the point for which the y-coordinate is 0. Look at this point. For this point, the y-coordinate is 0. So the x-coordinate of this point is actually the x-intercept of this line. Notice this point. For this point, the x-coordinate is 0 since the point is lying on the y-axis. So the y-coordinate of this point, that is y, is the y-intercept of this line. Look at this figure. At this point, the y-coordinate is 0 since this point lies on the x-axis. So the x-coordinate of this point, that is x, is the x-intercept of this line. And for this point, we can see that the x-coordinate is 0. So the y-coordinate of this point, that is y, is actually the y-intercept of the line. Now let us introduce ourselves to the equation of a straight line. See, the equation of any geometrical figure is actually a relationship between the x and the y coordinates that must be satisfied by all the points lying on that geometrical figure. So without going into the proof of this, we can state that the equation of a straight line is y is equal to mx plus c, where m represents the slope of the line and c represents the y-intercept, and x and y are the coordinates of any point lying on that line. Look at this graph over here. We can calculate the slope of the graph, that is the value of m. Like slope is equal to m, which is tan of 120 degrees. We know that tan of 120 degrees is minus root 3. So the value of m for this graph is minus root 3, and the value of c we can calculate that the y-intercept of the graph is positive 5. So it is 5. So the equation of this line will be y is equal to mx plus 3. M is minus root 3 plus 5. This is the equation of this line. For this line, the value of m is tan of 30 degrees, which is equal to 1 divided by root 3, and the value of c is positive 3. So the equation of this line is y is equal to 1 by root 3 x plus 3. So or y is equal to x divided by root 3 plus 3. Okay, now for this line, the slope is m equal to tan of 135 degrees, which is minus 1, and the value of y-intercept is c equal to minus 2. So the equation of this line is y is equal to minus 1 times x, that is minus x, plus c, that is minus 2. It can also be written as y plus x plus 2 is equal to 0. So this is how we write down the equation of a line from its graph. Now look at this equation. Y is equal to 1 divided by x. That is, x is the reciprocal of y, or y is the reciprocal of x. Let us try to plot this equation. We can see that if we keep on increasing value of x in the positive direction, the value of y will continuously decrease. Okay, if we increase the value of x, that is, we move over here, the value of y will continuously decrease. That is something like this. And if I decrease the value of x, that is I move closer to the y-axis, the value of y will increase. That is, it will move towards this side, something like this. If I increase the value of x but in the negative direction, that is here, the value of y will decrease but in negative direction, like something like this. Similarly, if I decrease the value of x, that is I move closer to the origin but in the negative direction, the value of y will keep on increasing also in negative direction, like this. So when I take numerous values of x and y and try to plot the graph will come out to be something like this. This curve is known as a rectangular hyperbola. We encounter rectangular hyperbola in physics when we study the Boyle's law, that is the relationship between pressure and volume of a gas. We see that there is a similar relationship between P and V, and when we plot the graph of P and V, it is a rectangular hyperbola. The quadratic equations. Y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0. This is the standard form of a quadratic equation. The highest power of x in this equation is 2, while that of y is 1. What are the roots of a quadratic equation? The roots of the quadratic equation are the value of x for which the y becomes 0. That is, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. The roots of the quadratic equation can be calculated using quadratic formula, which is x is equal to minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. This is the quadratic formula which can be used to calculate the roots of a quadratic equation. The graph of a quadratic equation is a parabola. This is a parabola. A parabola is divided in the middle by a line into two symmetrical halves. In this case, the line is the y-axis. But the line need not always be the y-axis. Actually, the line which divides the parabola into two symmetrical halves is known as the axis of symmetry. Let us learn how to plot a quadratic equation. Actually, a quadratic equation of the standard form, that is y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c, can either open upwards or downwards. It cannot open towards the right or left. It can only open towards the upside or the downside. Okay, so the value of a determines which side the parabola opens. If the value of a is positive, the parabola opens up. If the value of a is negative, the parabola opens down. The first step in plotting a quadratic equation is to find out the axis of symmetry of the quadratic equation. So the axis of symmetry of the parabola that will be formed by this graph is given by x is equal to minus b by 2a. Okay, this gives the axis of symmetry of the parabola. Let us understand this with the help of an example. Consider the quadratic equation y is equal to x square minus 2x plus 4. Okay, so the axis of symmetry for this equation will be x is equal to minus b divided by 2a. In this equation, the b is minus 2. It becomes minus of minus 2 divided by 2a. A is 1 here. So it becomes 2 divided by 2 equal to 1. So x is equal to 1 is the axis of symmetry of this particular parabola. The dotted line in this graph represents x equal to 1, which is the axis of symmetry of our parabola. Okay, so this line will actually divide the parabola into two symmetrical halves, and we can see that in this equation a, that is 1, is greater than 0, so definitely the graph will open towards the upper side. The second step is to find out the vertex of the parabola. Vertex of the parabola can be found out by putting this value of x into the equation. Okay, at x is equal to 1, y will be 1 minus 2 plus 4, that is y will be 3. So x equal to 1 and y equal to 3, that is the coordinate 1 comma 3. These are the coordinates of the vertex of the given parabola, that we have to draw. Okay, let us plot 1 comma 3. So 1 comma 3 will be lying over here, 1 and 3. So we have found out the axis of symmetry, the vertex, and we already know that the parabola is going to open towards the upper side. So let us draw the parabola. The parabola will look something like this. Now consider the equation x is equal to ay square plus by plus c. So unlike the previous quadratic equation, this equation is actually quadratic in y, that is y is having the highest power 2 while x is having the highest power 1. So if we plot this, how will it look like? So unlike the previous parabolas, the parabola of such an equation will open either to the right or to the left. Okay, let us learn a simple rule. If a is greater than 0, that is, it is positive, then the parabola of this kind will open towards right. While if a is negative, that is it is less than 0, the parabola of such an equation will open towards the left.